Hi everyone, hope you're doing okay. Our theme this week is wisdom, and I'm here in the sand. Sorry for those of you who hate sand, you know who you are. But yeah, I want to talk to you about a parable that Jesus told. It was about two men. One was wise, one was foolish, and they both set about building a house. One of them decided that the foundation he was going to build on would be sand. But the other guy decided that, no, he was going to build on a rock. He was going to put the foundation as this stone, and he was going to build his house upon that. So we have the first guy building on top of sand, and we have the second guy building on top of a rock. Now, what happens then in Jesus' story is this. There was this great storm and a great flood that came and surrounded the two houses. And guess what happened? Well, Jesus said that the person who'd built his house on the sand, his house fell and crumbled instantly. But the guy who built his house on the rock, his house stood firm. One was wise, one was foolish. One did what was right, one did what was easy. When we think of wisdom, Jesus thought of it in this way. He said, whoever listens to me and does what I say, follows my ways, follows my commands. And remember, when Jesus says that, he's not just saying that as a guy. He's not just some wise, clever fella saying, listen to my opinions and theories. No, he's saying, I'm the Son of God. I am God who's come down to earth and put on a body. That's who I am. That's what Jesus was saying. So when he says something, he's not just saying it like I'm telling you to do stuff, like I'm giving you advice. He's saying it as the one who made me, who made you, who made the sand, who made everything around us. And he's saying, here are the ways of life. Here are my ways. Here are my commands. Those who follow that, they're wise. They're like someone who builds their life, builds their heart, builds their everything about them, builds it on a rock. But someone who builds their life on nothing or on their own wisdom, their own knowledge, they're someone who just like builds their house on sand. And then when a storm comes, it'll fall and it'll fail. If you've built your life on the wrong thing, if I've built my life on the wrong thing. And you know, Jesus says that the storm isn't just the storms of life, but storms in the Bible are often signs of God's judgment and God's anger, God's punishment against wrong. And we know that's right, don't we? For wrong to be punished. We would expect a human judge to punish what is wrong. And if a human judge didn't punish what is wrong and just let everyone go, we'd say they were a bad judge. We expect that from a human judge, so how much more should God be a God of justice? When we see storms in the Bible, it's often God sending his judgment. And Jesus says, when that judgment comes, when you and when I stand before God when we die, in his kind of courtroom, if you like, and he looks at our lives, he looks at my life, my actions, my deeds, my thoughts, my desires. If I've built my life on my own wisdom, thinking, that's the best thing, then on that day, I'm going to get wiped away, just like that house. But if instead I build my life on what Jesus says is the right thing, then when that day comes, I'm going to stand firm. You see, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. The reason Jesus died was for you and was for me. God came to earth as a man to live amongst us, but he didn't sin. The way that you and I do things wrong and break God's laws, Jesus never did once. He was the only one among us who didn't have a criminal record, and yet he died for those who have sinned, for you, for me, so that our punishment, our judgment, would be taken off us, placed on him. And he dies, then rises from the dead, and gives us forgiveness if we trust him. If we trust that he's the only one who can do for you and me what we can never do ourselves, which is make ourselves right with God. Get forgiveness from our sin. So here's my question for you. When you hear all this stuff about Jesus and sin and his death on the cross and rising for your forgiveness, what are you going to do with that message? Are you going to push it to one side? Or are you going to do the wise thing? It's up to you.